Episode 5 picks up with a reprisal of last week's reminder never to bring a sword to an artillery cannon fight. And now Mikhail is dead. On the moon, the report comes in on the failure of the mission, but luckily we have a nuclear missile, because when you have nukes, you always have a backup plan. The commander doesn't seem to approve of Colonel Killing's plan, but it's a little late for that. I mean, when his resume came across your desk, there really should have been a flag there with the name Killing on it, right?
I am the chief commander, and
he should have expected that after that incident with Corporal Nutpuncher. Meanwhile, there's the fallout from the failed attack on Side 6.
The police here?
They said they wanted to hear it directly from you.
I see. Where are they?
They're next to the Xeon mobile suit. They demanded that you meet them there.
I never actually thought what it would be like for cops during all this. This was no accident. It was murder. I found a shell casing. Get a forklift and we'll bring it back to the lab. The cops are looking for the escaped Xeon agents responsible and are angry that Chris doesn't have any answers for them. And now they're going to have to do actual work. Plus, he seems to be bitter about the whole situation.
It's strange, don't you think? How the Xeon began attacking a neutral colony, coincidentally just after you people showed up. Amazing. Why do you suppose that is?
Obviously, you already know. You're just pissed off. So you're going to take it out on the woman who just saved your sorry asses. I get why he's upset about this, but yelling at her about it just because she's the one he happens to be questioning right here, that's just being a dick. Especially when these people should be celebrating that she stepped up and stopped the person who was shooting up the place. Speaking of which, Al continues to see this war for what it is. Like I said last time, the stuff that he'd run past without a second glance earlier on is now shocking to him. He's mortified to find them pulling a dead child out of the rubble from the attack, collateral damage from the fight. Meanwhile, Bernie is reflecting on the death of his squad, Steiner being last, asking if the Gundam was destroyed, and Bernie insisting to him that it was.
Bernie, you're a terrible liar.
What gave it away? Oh, right. The bartender is heartbroken, but tells Bernie he needs to use his fake passport to leave immediately despite the heat.
The Gundam isn't destroyed by Christmas night, an entire fleet will come from Granada straight to this colony. They're going to destroy this whole place with nuclear missiles.
I guess everybody on Side 6 was on Santa's naughty list this year. All in all, I think we can safely say that this mission sucked, and as Bernie waits by the remnants of his old Gundam, he reflects on it until Al brings him some lunch.
It seems that people die really easily, don't they?
A child confronting death. This is when a parent or older sibling figure can really be a help.
Are you at that again? Stop thinking about it.
But...
People die because they just get unlucky, okay? You can be a captain or a nobody. When your luck runs out, you die. That's how war is. Understand? Here.
Suck it up! Sitting there crying in your tiny pants. You make me sick. Bernie explains that he's going to be leaving, but Al is shocked since the mission hasn't been finished. Those people all died for nothing. But Bernie brings up the whole nuking the colony thing. Well, all the more reason to complete the mission, huh? The one that a team of highly trained experts with the proper equipment, the element of surprise, and a giant frickin' robot failed at. It's almost too easy. Well, Al's got it all figured out. They fixed the mobile suit, somehow, and then Mr. Top Gun here will defeat the Gundam, avert the attack, avenge Team Cyclops, and save the colony, and presumably, with the time left over, fly back in time and kill Hitler. Well, that's when Bernie finally admits that he is not, in fact, Ace Rimmer. He's just a rookie with no chance, but Al insists that he's just too scared to try his incredibly stupid plan. But Bernie tells him the whole truth, indicating the fact that they weren't friends. He was just spying on him to make sure he didn't tell anyone what was going on. But not even "we were never friends" will put a damper on Al's belief in Operation Sure to Fail, who insists that this is going to work and is disgusted that Bernie won't join him. So, Plan B.
I'm gonna go straight to the police.
And then they'd execute you, Al.
Not for treason, they've just had it up to here with Al and plan to shoot him on sight. But throughout Side 6, they have no idea that their imminent destruction will arrive on Christmas night. I tried to think of the most harmless thing, something that could never ever possibly destroy us. No one knows what's coming, and as Al watches kids playing video games, he has images of the colony being devastated by a nuclear blast. Remember that this is the kid who blew up his entire town playing a video game. Now he's looking at all of this in a brand new light. It's not abstract anymore. He's starting to take all of this stuff to heart. But when the cop or security guard or whatever he is wants to know what's wrong, well, Al panics, remembering that he will be executed for crimes against the spirit of Christmas. He runs into Chris and asks her what she would do if the colony were threatened, and she says she'd fight because she couldn't bear losing everyone she cares about by running away. But
if I fight, it's for my own sake. I'd fight because I'd be scared of being left alone. But that's what I would do. Another person may need to run. Everyone has to decide for themselves which choice to make.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
If you fight, people may die. It's a very difficult choice because if you don't fight, people may still die.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
There's no right or wrong thing to do. All you can really do is your very best. And what you think is right ends up being the best for you.
well, what Bernie thinks is right is hauling ass out of there. Oi, mate, got a ticket to Australia because I'm so Australian, mate. Meanwhile, Al sees the wreckage of his school and is worked up over it, and when he meets up with his friends, who find this whole thing to be cool, he's only concerned whether or not somebody got hurt. As they point out, it was the middle of the night, so the school was empty, except of course for anyone doing evil, so they had it coming. They're wild with shell casing that they found, not to mention this thing that he's got in his bag of holding. But Al's worked up. All this dying is getting in the way of the fun of this war. Meanwhile, Commander Killing has given his order to the Schwarzenegger-sounding guy to fire off the missile on Christmas night, but he wonders if the boss is really sure about this. And you know it's questionable when a guy who sounds like Dr. Strangelove thinks you might be going overboard on the nukes. Meanwhile, Al tries to tell the cops what happened, but no matter how much he rubs his face into the man's crotch, the guy just doesn't believe him. Because of, that whole bit of him lying about the long-lost brother thing. Meanwhile, Bernie's ready to head off to the beautiful colony of Francesca, but the sight of a redhead makes him momentarily mistake her for the doomed Chris.
Whiskey with soda.
Coming right up, sir. That's a good idea. I'll have a whiskey. Oh, miss, don't you think you've had enough? Oh, great. He can drink, but I can't. Why? Because he's cute?
Don't think I'm afraid to take you on just because there's 3 of you back there. But the sound of her loud call to her husband, well, that triggers a montage of how that relates to Bernie. The running away from your problems thing, not him leaving a 2-timing husband behind. But, he might very well have. The moon is a blue state after all. But he burns his ticket. He's going to stay and go forward with Operation... Are you frickin' serious? Meanwhile, Al has just learned the greatest thing. His parents are getting back together, and his father will be here just in time for the destruction of the colony. That's family values for you. But Bernie calls him up and says that they're going to do this thing, and I need your help because you are literally the only other person who can, and even then help is being loosely defined here. There's not much to say about Part 5. It's the little valley between the big episodes that 4 and 6 were. Al is realizing how terrible war is, and yet is still committed to the mission, even before learning about the rain of nuclear fire coming his way. Bernie is coming face to face with the realization that he's a failure, the weak link that's only here due to his embarrassing defeat that just happened to net him some valuable intel. But he's just not up to this. His turnaround is only because of that thing that Chris had said to Al about herself, that he couldn't live with himself if he left all these people to die without a fight. But this is all to prepare us for the big finale. This Monday, the end of Gundam 0080, War in the Pocket.
Commander, you are serious on moving ahead with this?